checking the button. Hi guys, this is Connie, and I think you might be a little too tall. Don't wobble off my computer. Thank you. Let's see, it's Tuesday, because the calendar's there, I can actually see it on the screen, April 7th, and I just found the first 4-leaf clover of the season. Ooh. It's only got flesh wounds. That made me happy. And I wanted to, well, I'll do that later, but I wanted to read you some junk mail. Also, as a side note, it's amazing what can happen when you actually brush your hair. I've been perfecting the top knot and finally decided to put a brush through my hair, and the first time in, I'll say I brushed my hair on Friday. So, no, I had to have brushed my hair. I'll have to look at pictures. I know I definitely had my hair pulled back for Easter, but I don't think I did anything special to it. Anywho, I just got an invoice from one of my insurance company, basically, the last time I went to the doctor. And it says the most recent insurance claim was filed to my insurance name, and it says Cheesecake. It says that the group name is actually Cheesecake. I've never seen anything like that before, and it made me chuckle. So I wanted to read that to you. But Mustachio said I should read this. We support a group called Compass Care. Very specifically, it deals with pregnancy services. And Mustachio said that it was a really nice read. So I thought I would read it to you. And then hopefully, well, I think I've got a little bit of time before vocal rehearsals. I will have to put a chapter down. Yes. Oh, we also got my in-laws are missionaries, and we got our happy little face from Christmas on their newsletter. So that made me happy. I was like, look, we're all smiles. It's good times. Let's see. The real issue in our country is not simply 1 million abortions every single year, nor is it the unethical abortionist's mercenary exploitation of a woman's unfortunate circumstances. Wow, that is a mouthful. The problem is not human trafficking, terrorism, the degradation of the family, or corruptible politicians. Focusing on any one of these burgeoning inequities alone will not create a lasting solution. Why? Because they all represent systemic injustice and stem from the same source. Only when we address the root cause can legalized human rights abuses like abortion ever truly be solved. That's an interesting thought. Our outrage over terrible human injustice has to be rooted in something lasting, something objective. Otherwise, it is just sentiment, able to be dismissed as mere bigoted opinion by those who disagree. Jesus dealt with rampant, systematic human injustice and inequality, not simply by exposing it and speaking against it, but by declaring that each person is responsible to love one's neighbor as oneself. But we would be powerless to do so were it not for the command that precedes it. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. He's referencing Matthew 22:37, because it says it right there. I don't have that memorized. I should, though. Justice and equality are an illusion if there is no God by whose standard we will all be measured. All humans are created in his image and therefore are of equal value. If we do not love the Lord first, our default is the love of self, and we become the standard by which we measure all others. I enthrone me as God and judge of all. That is how partiality, inequality, and injustice are born. I agree with him so far. He's right. This is really well written. But how is it possible for a society that values human equality to legalize systematic inequality, the same way societies have always done it, by disqualifying undesirable humans from personhood status in order to strip them of their right to their own body? And how is it done? By narrowing the definition of who qualifies as a person. Who is my neighbor? This is the question the lawyer asked Jesus in an attempt to justify his unequal treatment of humans, which he references Luke 10:29. Likewise, the Supreme Court in 1973 asked the same question, who is a person, in order to justify depriving fully human preborn babies of the protection of their right to their own life. Wow, I scanned through that and didn't even... okay. Justify depriving fully human preborn babies of the protection of their right to their own life. Humans who say they value human equality while justifying their inhumane treatment of people are hypocrites of the highest order. Woo. Them fighting words. We saw it with black Americans, calling them 3/5 of a man in order to enslave them. We saw it with Native Americans, labeling them savages to justify stealing their land. We saw it with those deemed mentally unfit to forcibly sterilize them in order to cleanse the population gene pool. Whoa. And now preborn boys and girls are treated with a level of callous dehumanization seldom seen in the sordid history of a man's inhumanity to man. Them strong words. I agree with it. I don't have any disregard. I have nothing to say against this. This all sounds spot on. To narrow the definition of human, like the Supreme Court did with Roe versus Wade, saying the word person does not apply to the unborn, is not an act of a progressively enlightened people, but an act of an increasingly selfish one. What is the solution to the legalized injustice of abortion and all other human inequalities justified by sinful men? How do we reorder society rightly, recapture justice, and reclaim peace among all men, not just the chosen elite? Jesus' answer? Love God with uncalculated devotion and reflect back to him the dedication he manifested to us on the cross. Then and only then we will refuse to make distinctions between categories of people. Only then are we empowered to treat all persons without partiality. Then the weak, the vulnerable, the oppressed, and the marginalized of society we will raise up with gladness and rejoice in the glory of the God who made us and in whose image we are made. Then justice will roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream, which is said to be referenced in Amos 5:24. Good on you, Compass Care. I thought I was going to just read junk mail. This is not junk at all. So, rally your passion for the personhood of all. Remain outraged at the irony of legalized injustice in the land of liberty. And in bold letters is this next sentence. Raise your voice for the voiceless preborn. In big, bold letters. Do all that and more, but let it all be done out of your love for God first. Then, and only then, can you and I love our neighbor without distinction or classification, truly free from hypocrisy. The hallmark of a person of faith is that he is truly no respecter of persons. For in our salvation from selfish sin at the cross of Christ, we have experienced the rich truth that each of us is the very treasure of God. And so, in quotes, 1 John 4:19, by this all men will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. That one's John 13:15. I read too far ahead. Knowing that we love because he first loved us, which was the 1 John 4:19. Because of the generosity of people like you over the years, Compass Care has added ultrasound technology, STD testing and treatment, cutting-edge marketing campaigns, continuously improved medical services, and helped pregnancy centers all over the nation become more effective. Because of your passion, it's italicized, and your dedication, also italicized. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. I always see it on the word process thing. Moving on. Because of your passion and your dedication, thousands of women have been dignified with ethical medical care and their preborn children saved. Compass Care's 2015's goals are reach 38 more women each month in such a way that they have their babies, and serve those women more effectively by implementing a continuous improvement software system. To accomplish these, Compass Care needs to raise $201,000 at the Walk for Life. In the last 4 years, 3,751 people have sponsored walkers at the Walk for Life. You are one of them. If everyone receiving this letter expressed their passion by sponsoring their walkers again, Compass Care would far surpass its goal. Because of the work of Compass Care and your passion to support it, the abortion industry is experiencing financial pressure. Together, we are erasing the need for abortion in Rochester. This is one of the things Sam's been doing. He lived in Rochester, New York before. And then it says in bold letters, as a former sponsor, please consider being a pledge-raising walker this year. If you cannot be a walker, will you be willing to increase your sponsorship of your walkers from past years? Compass Care is paving the way for success already. Now this sounds like junk mail because they have to, this is the point of a letter. You're trying to raise funds. Compass Care is paving the way for success already. The walker you previously sponsored will be receiving a letter shortly, so you should be hearing from them soon. For more information, you can go to www.walk.compasscare.info to register or sponsor your walker. If you want to walk and cannot be in Rochester on May 2nd, you can participate as a ghost walker and still raise pledges for the women and babies Compass Care serves. Together we can love our neighbor, the preborn child and his mother, as Christ commands us. Let's walk for life. Erasing the need for abortion together. This is apparently from the president and CEO, which this looks like it was printed on as far as his signature. I'm sure he's a very busy guy. For more information, visit www.walk.compasscare.info or Compass Care's Facebook page at www.facebook.com/compasscarecommunity. Well, Mustachio is right. That's probably like the best worded fundraising letter I've ever... That is a huge introduction to will you please sponsor me. That... Well, I mean, spells it out pretty clear, and I've got no objections to it. So, on that note, be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you, and leave your comments below. What do you think about abortion? Let's have a decent conversation. Let's not hate on each other and say, well, your perception of this is wrong. Let's love each other and be decent. Otherwise, I can always just turn the comments off. Etna cheesecake. And I'm dropping stuff. I'll do a close-up on a 4-leaf clover. I know there's nothing special about it, but I always think that they're pretty, and I have a knack for finding them. And that was the first one. It's so picturesque.